Hey there, this is a quick Blender tutorial. I'm going to show you how to create a super lightweight fake volumetric fog with density that fades out near the camera. And best of all, it has basically zero render time. The node setup is really simple. First, add a large cube that completely covers your scene. Instead of the principal volume shader, we're going to use animation shader. Plug it into the volume socket of the material output. We're going to use the strength value to control the overall density. Crank it all the way down to something like 0.01 or lower, and now we've got a fake volumetric fog. It's not going to interact with any lights, but it works great as atmospheric fog. And plus, since there is no real volume scattering, you'll barely see any noise compared to true volumetric shaders. And now, let's add the distance-based falloff, so it's clear near the camera and thicker farther away. For this, grab a camera data node and use the view distance output. Plug that into a map range node. If you increase the from max value, you'll start to see the falloff appear. Here's how it works. View distance is going to generate a range based on your current viewpoint. So from min and from max controls the inner and outer range where the fog starts to fade. Use 2min and 2max to set the density for the near and far parts. Now let's plug the map range into the strength of emission and reset map range. Right now, the fog might look too strong again because 2max resets to 1. So add a math node set to multiply and multiply by something low like 0.01. Let's crank up from max and you can see this falloff starting to appear. Let's crank up 2max a little bit, make the outer part thicker. And then we can crank up from min to control the inner part and make the fog clearer. You can also tweak emission color, maybe give it a light blue, but for now I'm just going to make it white. Now if you move the camera around, you can see this fog is updating to your current position, just like in real world. If you want to make it more interesting, you can add a noise texture and make sure enable the add-on node regular and press Ctrl T to add a texture coordinate. Mix it with the math node, set the type to multiply and the factor to 1. Add a color ramp after the noise texture to have better control. For the texture coordinate, I recommend you to change it from generated to object. Lower the scale a little bit until you can see the pattern, and adjust the parameters as you like. And now let's move on to the final step, vertical height falloff. If you look at real-world atmosphere, you'll notice the fog gets thinner as it goes higher up. To do this, we're going to add a separate XYZ node and press Ctrl T to add a texture coordinate. Delete the image texture that comes with it, then connect the vector output and set the coordinate type to generate it. And now let's preview the z-axis. You'll see a gradient from bottom to top. Add a color ramp, flip it around so the black is at the top. That's where the fog should be thinner. And here let's change the linear to B-spline so you can see a smoother transition. And then let's mix it with the previous mix node and set the type to multiply and the factor to 1. And that's it. We've got two clean groups, one controlling the camera distance falloff and another for vertical height falloff. This setup also works if you swap to a principal volume shader. Just plug the final node into the density socket. So now you've got yourself a super fast volumetric fog. Play with it and have fun. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something useful, and I'll see you next time.